Alright everyone, let's go on and get started with today's lesson in Japanese class. So Jesse, welcome in. I know you missed the last class and that's perfectly fine. Today is going to be a pretty big, maybe not a really big review, but we will be reviewing everything that we learned last class because it's pretty important. So I'm going to switch to just chatting. Hi guys, I'm using my live camera today. Actually, I'm a little high up. There we go. Okay, so for us to begin, I'm going to do my Discord spiel all over again. So let's see. Hey, Alcinonix, welcome in. Oh. Actually, I actually worked out and just took a shower, so I'm kind of like winded still. Okay, so what was it? Yeah, I'm gonna go on and do my Discord spiel now. So for those of you that have that are just coming in, maybe you're just lurking, and if you would like to catch up with Japanese lessons, you can do so by joining in on the Discord. So !Discord. I believe that still works. Hey Foxes, welcome in. I believe this works. So if I click this link, it does. Yes, that link does still work. I've come to steal my... Why are you stealing my cookies? Those are my cookies. Welcome in, Corn Fox. What was I doing? Yes, I recommend you join in my Discord. And it's getting to the point where I'm just like, maybe I should just like simplify it a little bit. Anyway, in the Discord, you will be first prompted to accept the rules to my Discord. And I'm sure every Discord has this. To agree, just... react with the Jack Hart message, you can just click here and it will show you there. And then role selector will give you the general role, which is the sushi role. So you'll see all the chats at that point. If you do want access to the Japanese section, though, you need to go into role selector. For role selector, if you'd like to be alerted when I promote my stream, react with Jack Cheer. Opposite around. If you are a streamer and you would like to stream or promote yourself, use the Jack Cheer. If you'd like to be alerted about the information that I'm giving out, usually in Tiger Alerts, you don't have to. You can still read them on your own. It's just that I send out an alert to the alerted crew who do want those messages. So you can react with here. The important one is this one here at the very bottom. If you want access to the Japanese channels, you must react here with Jack Sip, which is actually one of my favorite emotes. If you do like Jack the 47 Sip. Yeah, this one. I love this emote. It's like so judgy, that one. Just like, yeah, I'm just gonna sip. But if you react to that, it'll open up the Japanese lessons here. For those of you that are new, I do have a YouTube playlist. Really? That's, oh my god, you guys and you millennials and your shortcuts. Let me try this. It does work. Anyway, I do have a playlist, and if you click the link at the very top, you can see we've done 12 sessions so far. We did not get into future tense last class. We're actually going to get into that a little bit today. The other things that you can find on the Discord are the Japanese 1 practice. I've only had one person attempt the practice, Asanonix. I will be going over this a little bit too, with everyone. So, like, I wasn't really sure how to judge if you guys were ready to move on or not. So for today, we're going to review our particles. And then I would like you to try the practice, and then we will move on. Japanese 1 Resources also has all the documents we're working on. Someone asked me, is like, are these living documents? And the answer is, like, it's basically yes. Like Chapter 1, as long as we're working on this document gets, there's more added to it. Once we finish with the chapter, we're done. Chapter 2, we are done. We are currently working on the Chapter 3 document. If you click this Google Doc, you'll be able to view it. So far, and I'm going to use this one actually. So far, we've done, that's my Twitter. Let me close that up. So far, we've done quite a bit actually for this chapter. Let me move Discord over here now. There we go. So the biggest thing that we started learning was verb conjugation, and based on what I saw in the Japanese practice, most of you are very strong with verb conjugation. We have our ru verbs, our u verbs, and of course our irregular verbs. Now I know Kitsuneko calls them like the ru verbs, u verbs, and the fake ru verbs. I'm not sure where he got that, but like that's his way of teaching it. He does teach u verbs differently than I do. For me, I say remove final u, add imas. He was like convert that final u into the e form, and then add mas after it. Which it's very similar. It's just like a different method kind of thing. But based on what I saw, most of you are very good with verb conjugation. Now, if you do want to practice the vocabulary, that is here in the document at the top. Unfortunately, and I realize it's too late, it's all in hiragana at this point. If you can't read the hiragana, that's fine. If you click the card, actually, go into flashcards. If you click the card,
Eiga.
you can hear it anyway. Eiga, movie. Ongaku,
Ongaku.
music, kind of thing. So you can do it that's one way you can study the vocabulary. There is quite a bit this unit, because a lot of it is verbs, and we need to know the verbs for this chapter. I do recommend at least 10 minutes a day of studying these vocabulary words. It will really, really, really help you in the long run. Or actually not at the point where I need to start reviewing my own vocabulary words. We'll get there very soon. And then the last thing we did was we started talking about particles in Japanese. And this is where we're going to review today, because I want to make sure that we drive the particles home. The thing is, you can mix up words in Japanese or use the wrong vocabulary word, and people will help you. They're like, oh, you mean this? And you're like, yes, that's what I meant. But if you mix up the particles, that's when it starts getting very, very confusing. And I think an example before, and I don't know who did it, and I'm not picking on you, or I'm not trying to pick on you, but this is a good example. If you said like, watashi wa sushi de restaurant o tabemasu. This is where the particles were mixed up. Like sushi de, in the sushi, restaurant o tabemasu. You ate the restaurant inside the sushi, kind of thing. That's where like the particles must be tied correctly to their words, kind of thing. All right, so for quick review, we've already learned particle wa, which is our topic marker. We learned ka, and this marks the question, and it's usually at the end of a sentence. There is another form of ka that we will learn later on, and it's usually in the middle of a sentence, but don't worry about it. Watashi wa sushi de restaurant o tabemasu. 1 second. Some weird wolf is messaging me. We learned particle no. This is usually the possession. I do want you guys to realize that no is also used to show relationship between two objects. Technically possession, but not exactly. Kind of like the high school teacher. You would say koukou no sensei, but that doesn't mean the teacher belongs to the high school kind of thing. Just know that no will connect two objects together. Like there's a relationship between them. It could be used for possession, or it could show that they are, like I said, tied together. Ne and yo were new that we added. Same with mo. But ne is used for agreement at the end of a sentence, just like ka. It is a question marker, but for this one, you're still asking someone to agree with you. Whereas yo you use with like extreme confidence. Can be considered like an exclamation point. And then mo, the way we've been using it so far, means also. The biggest thing is that mo will replace wa in Japanese. We did briefly mention last time that if we're using ni to say that someone also went to a different place, mo will follow after ni and does not replace that wa, depending on who you're talking about. And that's actually what I do want to go over with you guys today. The first one we started doing practice on was particle o. I used a sentence today. Koko no tenki mo yoku wakarimasen. I don't know today's weather well. I also don't know today's weather well. Koko no tenki mo yoku wakarimasen. Yeah, I think that works. Koko no tenki mo yoku wakarimasen. I don't know it that well. It implies that you don't know the weather at some other place, though. If that's what you mean. So let me go on and here. Let me do my table to separate today's date. Hello, Happy Foxo. Welcome in. Yokoso. 私の授業へようこそ table. This class uses blue. この授業は青の色です。And today, review of... Actually, I should call this like lesson... This is technically lesson 3 of this chapter. This is review of particles, time reference, and word order. And for today, today is March the 8th, 2021. How do we say this in Japanese, guys? How do we say today's date? Oh, it's also Monday. Some of you don't know the counter for days or year or month yet, but that's okay. I think some of you are starting to pick up on it from either me typing it in or even Kitsuneko-neko's chat. I will start adding the days of the week too, because it is Monday. So, 今日は何日と何曜日ですか? I used a particle there that I haven't taught yet. 今日は何日と何曜日ですか? What is today's date in Japanese? And we'll start, remember, in Japanese, the date will always start with the year. So we're going to use our year counter first. Let me make it larger for you guys. So Fox says, 2021年. Yes. I keep having to jump between the IME and that. 2021年. And remember, because I taught you guys these kanji, I'm using the kanji now. 2021年3月. 3月 for our month for March. And then hold on. Fox says you put the wrong date. I was looking at it, I was like, wait a second. And then I looked at Jesse's, I'm like, well, Jesse's got it right. That was 4 days ago. Fox's is in the past. Maybe he's got a connection to that past. He has a link to that past. Yes, it is Monday in Japanese. Monday in Japanese, Getsuyobi. So I'll do this in Romanji also. God damn it. 21年3月 and then yoka. And then it is Getsuyobi for the day. How do you know it's not the future? I don't know. Was the 4th really a Wednesday? It was not, by the way. The 4th was mokuyobi datta. I have not taught this one yet, by the way, so I'll put this in hiragana too. Getsuyobi. There we go. I did the 4th too. Sensei, did I learn to say water in Japanese? It's mizu. Yes! And actually, chorakunti, we can actually use that word with today's lesson, since we'll be using it. You must be having a day today. Mine was an okay day. Actually, mine was a very lazy day. I just gave a state test. All I had to do was stay here, watch my monitor, and be like, I can't see your camera. Turn on your camera for the test, kind of thing. Seikai desu, correct. There are many ways of saying correct. I usually go tadashi. Tadashi. I think that works too. Okay, so today we are going to, I'm gonna make this a title. Review of Japanese particles. Yes, you, is it the same, it is the same kanji. You felt dumb in the Japanese chat. Yes, it is never too late to start learning. For those of you, in fact, I do have some new people in here, so let me do my my Discord spiel again. For those of you that are just coming in, ! Discord. I do recommend you join into my Discord channel to catch up with lessons. I do I do put up practice problems in the Discord chat. So for those of you that do come in, if you take that link, the first thing it'll take you to is, why does it do this each time? It'll take you to my rules page. I have some very generic, basic rules kind of thing. But once you agree to the rules, just react here with the Jack Hart message. You can just click here, and it will give you the first role, which is the sushi role. Which will give you access to all the channels in my Discord, with the exception of the Japanese channel. The reason why I did that is because this is also my normal streaming gaming channel. So if people start talking in the Japanese lessons and they don't want to hear it, I don't want them to be bothered by it. I mean, of course, they could always mute the channel, but I was being nice. If you go to Role Selector, however, if you'd like access to the Japanese channels and roles in the Role Selector under Announcements, just react here, reject SIP, and you should start seeing those channels open up. We're currently in our Japanese 1, and we're honestly we're chugging along pretty quickly. We may start Japanese 2 kind of soonish. But for Japanese 1 resource, if you've missed any of the previous classes, one thing you can check out is the YouTube playlist. Clicking that will take you to my YouTube channel, and here we have each of the sessions from 1 through 12. Another thing that this does, you can also see the notes that we've done for each of the chapter of the textbook I'm using to help teach this. We have chapter 1, chapter 2, and we're currently working on chapter 3. So if you click on chapter 1, this will show you the old stuff. I think I changed the colors. Yep. Such as like creating a basic sentence in Japanese, and most importantly, because I start with chapter 00. Here we go. Like the vocabulary, and this will always open up a Quizlet. I love Quizlet. As a teacher myself, I use Quizlet all the time. Quizlet will it may ask you to sign up for it, which it's a free learning platform. So if you can, I strongly recommend you do sign up for it, because it makes instead of having to create flashcards on like actual paper like I did in college, this gives you a digital platform. You can put it on your phone. You can study basically anywhere. How many chapters are in the first book? There are 12. But like I said, on Discord, we're currently working on chapter 3. And these are all living documents until we finish them. So each lesson, more information's added into them. The Happy Fox, so thank you for following. Welcome to the Tiger's Den. I actually have my old book right here. It's actually pretty thick. I'm currently doing Japanese 1. This only focuses on the first 6 chapters. Japanese 2 will focus on the next 6. Anyway, let's go back to the class, which is review of Japanese particles. And the first one we're going to talk about is particle O. I gave you guys like a few examples of this, but I kind of want to go further into it. So like here. Now, remember, particle O is our direct object particle. And even though it's pronounced as O, it is written in Romanji as WO, or the hiragana for O. Now, particle O will always be used when there is an object that is directly involved in or affected by an event. These, I kind of feel bad because prior to this, the examples I gave you were with actual, like, hard objects. I didn't exactly give you abstract examples, so I kind of want to do that today. Some of our examples. Watashi wa sushi o tabemasu. And I know I can't hear you because this is not a Zoom call, but if you would like, please go ahead and repeat this with me. Watashi wa sushi o tabemasu. Watashi wa sushi o tabemasu. Now, one of the questions I had received before is, because when I had done this before, I just typed it as sushi o tabemasu. And someone asked, why is it not sushi wa tabemasu? And that's actually a very good question. So it forced me to put this in parentheses, watashi wa. This is because you're still talking about yourself, but in most conversations, if you're talking about yourself, it's understood that you're going to say watashi wa. So instead of saying like watashi wa sushi o tabemasu, watashi wa mizu o nomimasu, watashi wa terebi o mimasu, if you're talking about yourself, it's more natural to completely omit or remove that watashi wa. So I put it in parentheses like this, so you guys know that it can be put there, but in this sentence, you don't necessarily need it. Because we already understand who we're talking about. Let's see, Fox's abstract stuff. Because you are doing the eating, the sushi isn't doing the eating. Exactly, the sushi is what's being eaten. And this is showing that these two are connected. Sushi o. Because this is our direct object. Sushi. What are we doing with the sushi? We are eating the sushi. In the next sentence, Foxes drinks water. And this is where, who said it before? Someone learned water. Chirakunchi, you learned water. So we used mizu in this example also. So Foxes-san wa mizu o nomimasu. In this case, we did have to put Foxes-san in the front. Foxes-san wa. Because we're no longer talking about ourselves. We're talking about someone else. So we have to specify who we're talking about. So what is Fox doing? He drinks the water. So mizu o. The object that he is drinking is the water. And then the last one, I watch TV. Terebi o mimasu. Watashi wa terebi o mimasu. These were our initial examples. I'm going to do some more examples with particle o. So first off, let's insert another table. And these tables we put red because we're talking about particles at this point. I don't like this at 200. We're going to keep that 150. Let me know if this is too small for you guys to see. And remember, this is pronounced as o. Even though there's a W in front of it, it's not, you don't sound it out. You just say o. Particle o. The object, or direct object particle. So for this, I'm going to use Jesse this time. Jesse studies Japanese unspecified language. Jesse studies Japanese language. This is an example of something abstract. You cannot see the Japanese language. You cannot touch the Japanese language. I mean, you can listen to it, but it's something abstract. Something that's kind of just there. So how are we going to build this? We do need to know some vocabulary words. At this point, for those of you that had been following along, you should know how to say the Japanese language. How do we say Japanese in regard to Japanese language? Yes, Nihongo. So we're going to start with Jesse. I keep wondering if there's like two E's in your name. Jesse-san wa, because remember, we have to always remember our honorifics. Jesse-san wa Nihongo. Now, Japanese is the object that you are studying. Now, even though it's not something you can grasp or touch, it is still there. So, Nihongo, we do need our direct object particle. Nihongo o. And what is to study in Japanese? It is one of our irregular verbs. How do we say to study in Japanese? Jeshi. Yeah, that's why I think there's two E's in there. Jesu-san wa Nihongo. To study wa Nihongo de nanto iu? How do you say to study in Japanese? Remember, this is one of our vocabulary words. To study. Yes, benkyou suru. But let's conjugate it. Let's conjugate it into our into neutral form, or sometimes called long form. How do we conjugate benkyou suru? Benkyou what? Because remember, suru is one of our irregular verbs. How do we conjugate benkyou suru? Yes, benkyou shimasu. Benkyou shimasu. That's really obnoxious to write in Romanji. So, Jesse-san wa Nihongo o benkyou shimasu. In fact, I'm gonna move this down so it's a little neater. There you go. Maybe not. Complete. Porque. Why? No. Whatever. Okay. There we go. Better. Jeshi-san wa Nihongo o benkyou shimasu. I hate Google sometimes. So Jesse-san wa Nihongo o benkyou shimasu. And we're using particle o again, and I believe I made this orange. Because this is our direct object particle. That's not what I wanted. There we go. Yes, behave, Google Docs. Hey, Zerok, welcome in. Something I did see, and this is mostly from Asononics. I have not taught you guys to use two different, whatchamacallit. I haven't taught you guys to use two verbs in one sentence yet. And you did try to do that at one point, and that was okay, but it didn't exactly work. So I'm going to use one of the examples that we did. Let's say, and I'm going to do one of the questions for the practice. So number 5 in the practice was Nihon no ongaku. Or it was roku, which is rock music. And the last one was kurashiku, or classic music. And these are all nouns here. These are all of these are nouns. We have Nihon no ongaku, Nihon no ongaku, roku, and kurashiku. I spelled it wrong. There we go. All right, so these are all just nouns. I'm gonna move this back. Can I move this back even more? Nande so the directions were to ask you to pick one of these that you do with using a positive verb and one that you use with a negative verb. These are all types of what? We have Nihon no ongaku, roku, kurashiku. These are types of what? In fact, the first one is kind of a very big clue. Nihon no ongaku. Yeah, these are all types of music. So with music, we're going to use what verb did we learn about music? Do we obviously can't eat music. What's our verb going to be? Use the verb what? We can't eat music. We can't return to music. We can't go. Yeah, it's to be listened. So what? We're gonna listen to these. Oops. So our verb in Japanese means we're going to use which one? Yes, kiku. We're going to use kiku. Now, for each of these questions in the practice, you had to create 2 sentences. One that was positive and one that was negative. So this is difficult because I listen to all of these. So I'm just going to do this as an example. So I could say, and I'm put watashi wa, because I'm talking about myself. Watashi wa Nihon no ongaku o kikimasu. I listen to Japanese music. And this is so much better in Romanji. Watashi wa Nihon no ongaku o kikimasu. So that's one thing that I do. I listen to Japanese music. Not really so much anymore, though. So I already picked this one. The second thing you need to do is pick another of the 2 the 2 nouns and make it in the negative. First of all, who knows what Nihon no ongaku is? Nihon no ongaku. Nihon no ongaku. What is Nihon no ongaku? I listen. I will. Yes, Japanese music. Be careful. You didn't know this. In fact, it may be a good thing to bring this up. When referring to Japanese people, I feel like they tend to prefer the acronym JPN. And the reason is Jap is technically considered derogatory. It was used, yeah, it was used during the World War II, when in America they were put into the internment camps. So that was a racist phrase used referring to Japanese people at the time. So Japanese people tend to be sensitive to that, so they prefer the acronym JPN. But you didn't know. Yeah, you didn't know. It's perfectly fine, because you didn't know. In fact, the same thing happened to me. I used that in high school, and like one of my friends was actually not as kind as I was. She was actually screaming at me, like, "Why would you do that? Don't you?" And I was like, "Oh my god, I'm sorry, I didn't know." Okay, not only I may get flagged for this too. But yes, sound plus fun. Nihon no ongaku. Yes, it's Japanese. So I listen to Japanese music. That's what this sentence means. And because this is killing me, I'm going to do this. It's killing me. Yes, I feel better. I feel better. Yes, better. It's like it will get to the point, guys, where you're gonna like, please use the kanji. It's so difficult to do otherwise. So I use the example Nihon no ongaku o kikimasu. I want you guys try to build the sentence, another sentence, but the sentence in negative. So your answer should be. Am I tabbing this? No, I'm not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So your answer should be, I don't listen to blank. And I want you guys to pick between roku or klashiku. This is just an example. If you do listen to these, it's okay. But try to build these sentences. We've been referring to I a lot. If you want to elaborate, that's perfectly fine too. You can say like, my sister doesn't listen to blank, or my mother doesn't listen to blank, kind of thing. But try to remember, we're trying this in the negative. We used kikimasu. In the negative, that would be what? Kikimasu in the negative. What is kikimasu in the negative? I'm actually surprised that yes, kikimasen. I'm actually surprised that Twitch blocked it, that word. So I have Fox's answer. Yeah, go. Everyone else, try your sentence. He decided not to use I. He's talking about his father. Watashi no chichi wa roku no ongaku o kikimasen. You could probably just simplify it to just roku in that case. Watashi wa roku no ongaku o kikimasen. You both did it. Yeah, I do too. I listen to I'm an alternative junkie. I listen to my alternative rock all the time. But if it's like Japanese alternative rock, then even better. What the heck? Oh my god, I need this picture. Anyone else trying? Like, type in the chat. If you're wrong, don't worry about it. Like, mistakes will happen when you're learning a language. Don't be afraid of those mistakes. We're here. Everyone is in here trying to help you. We're not going to be like, oh my god, you got it wrong. You're so... No, we're not going to do that. This is... language... People will always correct you in language. And it's okay. Alright, so I'm going to put... you both use rock. So, Foxes, you said... Watashi no chichi wa roku. Oh, you said roku no ongaku. You actually don't need it because it's already in play. So just roku o kikimasen. I'm putting this in. I just realized I'm using kanji. Sorry, guys. So, watashi no chichi wa roku o kikimasen. And then in the Romanji for some of you, watashi no chichi wa roku o kikimasen. And this sentence means my father does not listen to rock music. Kind of thing. So that was one example there. Oh, hold on. I need to also highlight these. What is chichi? Chichi is father in Japanese. You guys may have learned it as otol-san. If you've been following along, you could use otol-san here. If I type it out, actually, hold on. Is it otol? No. If I type otol-san, you'll see that the kanji that for chichi is also here in the center. So you can say, watashi no otol-san wa roku o kikimasen. Yes, for those of you that speak Spanish, yeah. It's like otol-san. And that works as well. I will specify the differences between chichi and otol-san much later on. You pinned me in... Oh, there you are. I will try my best, Woobly. Because... And if I can't help you, then maybe Kitsuneko may be better. But like I said, I will try my best to help you. Unless it's my homework assignment, then we shall see. But yeah, go in and send me those questions and I'll do my best. If it is beyond me, I will let you know. That's actually what makes me really sad. Because, like, my biggest issue is kanji recognition. And part of that is my own fault because I didn't keep up with it, but part of it is also because I've taught, like, beginning Japanese only, that my own Japanese kind of, like, slowly died, kind of thing. Are you trying to say, like, ryori? Like, what kind of food do you like? Ryori. Donna ryori ga suki desu ka? Is that what you're trying? Yes, that's the correct one. Donna ryori ga suki desu ka? I will be using that question later on too. Donna ryori ga suki desu ka? Watashi ni totte, according to me anyway, watashi ni totte, nihon teki na ryori ga suki desu. Nihon teki na ryori ga suki desu. I like Japanese style meals. Because I'm such a weeb. So, nihon teki na ryori ga suki desu. Any questions on particle O? Nihon teki na ryori ga suki desu. Don't forget ga was suki. Nihon teki na ryori ga suki desu. We will discuss that particle ga there later on as well. The only questions I put up on Discord so far for practice were using particle O. The second particle we learned was particle de, which is location. And this, de is pretty self-explanatory. And I say that, but like, particle de is for location, where something happens. Describing where an event takes place. Particle de. So here, like, I watch TV at home. Watashi wa uchi de, at home. Terebi o mimasu. I watch TV at home. Watashi wa uchi de terebi o mimasu. And you can repeat this with me and I'll slow it down if you would like to. Watashi wa uchi de terebi o mimasu. Miru for to watch. We also talk about foxes drinking water at the cafe. We used water again. Oh, I know why. Because we were borrowing the words from up here. Foxes-san wa cafe de mizu o nomimasu. Cafe de, at the cafe or in the cafe. Our object, mizu o nomimasu. Foxes-san wa cafe de mizu o nomimasu. And then I eat sushi at the restaurant. We use the I eat sushi again. Osake o nomimasu. Osake o nomimasu ka. The extra A kind of threw me off. Osake o nomimasu ka. Betsu ni osake o nomimasen. 実は別に酒を飲みません. Like, I don't often drink. Like, I don't really drink alcohol. It's what I'm trying to say. 別にお酒を飲みません. I guess I could say, because we'll be doing this next lesson, I could use a frequency adverb. We say like, あまりお酒を飲みません kind of thing. But I eat sushi at the restaurant. 私はレストランで at the restaurant 寿司を食べます. And so that's, I don't know if I want to do quick practice with this one just yet. Like, 誰がお酒を飲みますか? Who drinks sake in here? Or just alcohol in general. 誰がお酒を飲みますか? I'll ask chat. Do you guys want me to do a few more examples using particle de? Woobly, nomimasen. So I'm gonna ask you guys chat. Would you like more examples using particle de? Because otherwise, I'll jump to particle ni specifically for time reference. Sure, the more the better. Okay. So I'm going to insert my beautiful table again. We're going to paint it red. Desu. And this will be particle... How did I type that up here? Particle o. Particle de. And this is our... I like just to say location particle, where something happens. Short form of nomu is nomi, right? Short form of nomu is nomu. Nomi is the stem, but short form is nomu by itself. Like osake yo nomu. I smell Asian food and it smells really good. Now, use particle de after a location. And let me phrase it. Use particle de directly after. In fact, I'm going to put both of those. Directly after a location. I can't type. So please, for using this, use particle de directly after a location. I'm going to highlight this because that's important. So, for example, if I wanted to say, Woobly does... Did we learn the word for homework yet? I don't think we did. Homework, does homework... Shukudai in the library. For this one, we have homework shukudai. Oh, you have to write what people say about questions? That's fine. Starba de kohi o nomimasu. Yeah, you could say like in Starbucks. Starba. It's funny because Starbucks used to be Starbucks, and then they just shortened it to Starba. Like, Japan loves to shorten words. So Woobly does homework in the library. Yes, shukudai. Yeah, we use 別にお酒を飲むだと。Oh, I know what you're doing, Woobly. You're a few chapters ahead of us. What's wrong is you're using nomu. You need to make it short form negative, which is nomanai. And you don't need, because that nomu is your verb, you don't need da. You just use nomanai, nomanai to itemashita. You don't need the short form of des in there. So the would be betsu ni osake o nomanai to itemashita. Nomanai to itemashita. No problem. For this one, we start with woobly. So let's see, how does this come up in hiragana? Woobly. Like, I think it's... I don't know if they actually would use this woobly. どんなスポーツをよくしますか? I don't know how to say it in Japanese. Let me look it up. But for the sport I often do, it would be calisthenics. It did not come into right. Calisthenics. Really? I'll put it in chat because apparently there's many ways of saying this, and I may have to ask Kitsuneko on this one. These are types of sports I do. It's basically just like body weight workout. So I think it would be Shunan Taisol, I think. Alright, so yes, Asanonics has brought us back on track. But that's I often do calisthenics, Woobly. So for this sentence, we said Woobly-san. You do have your honorifics there. But we need our topic marker, Asanonics. What's our topic marking particle? Woobly-san what? Woobly-san... Yes, you need particle wa. So Woobly-san wa. And you said Toshokan de Shukudai o. And this is actually... you actually used the wrong verb, and that's it. Everything else was good. Excuse me. Shukudai o. And the verb to do. Jesse's got it. The verb to do is shimasu. To do something. So he does his homework in the library. So this one is orange. De is what, green? Yes, De is green. De is green. So Woobly-san wa toshokan de shukudai o shimasu. He does the verb to do. And then I'm gonna try doing this though. Yeah, I'll probably just do Woobly. Woobly-san wa toshokan de shukudai o shimasu. Shukudai o shimasu. So Woobly-san wa toshokan de shukudai o shimasu. We use particle de to mark our location. And again, we're using particle o for our direct object. You may notice that we're probably going to use particle o a lot. It's one of the most commonly, after wa, it's one of the most commonly used words. Kyodai ga imasu ka? Ototo ga imasu. Let me change that. 弟、一つ弟がいます。I used the wrong word too. 弟は一人、弟が一人います。弟が一人います。Did I? Oh, I didn't change his color. So, Woobly さんは図書館で宿題をします。Astronauts, do you know why we switch verbs? Just checking in with you. We switched. You put des, but the verb should be shimas. Just making sure you understand why we used a different verb. Yeah, that's fine. All right. Des is like is. It is. Suru to do. どこに住んでいますか? San Diego に住んでます. Yeah, it's fine. Rick Fayuri, welcome in. This is actually a very good example for de, so I'm actually going to skip to the next part and go to time reference. Time reference and ni. So this is where it's going to be a little confusing. In fact, I'm going to be combining a few here because I'm looking at time and because I want to move on to the next part as well. So this is going to be particle ni, which is 1, direction, or 2, time reference. Particle ni will always show that there's movements, some kind of movement happening. Some kind of movement occurring. Particle e is the same as particle ni, but only for direction, not time. So basically, for this, you can replace particle ni and e when you're showing movement between an object. Eventually, this will show. Right now, we're just focused on movement of people. But when we start talking about like giving and receiving, that kind of movement of objects, we will start using this also. And I think Kitsuneko-san kind of brought that up also, using like morale, ageru, kureru. And it's frustrating. Not gonna lie, it's one of the frustrating parts. All right, so to combine this, I'm going to ask. I wake up at. I think I used this before. I'm gonna say I wake up at 6:30 a.m. Is that 結婚していますか? 結婚していません. 結婚することを信じてない. Is that right? Posture check. Thank you. Ow, my back. I did pull-ups, guys. It kind of hurt. Alright, so for this one, I wake up at 6:30 a.m. Let's see if you guys remember this one. What is a.m. in Japanese? A.m. And I went over this last time, I believe. A.m. Do more of that posture check. A.M. And I think, Foxes, you tried this last time, but you used the wrong kanji. Yes, there you go. Gozen, gozen. So A.M. would be gozen. So gozen roku jihan. Yes, so 6:30 a.m. I'm actually going to write this two ways. Gozen roku jihan. Actually, no. I'll just to simplify it. So, watashi wa gozen roku jihan. And now we need, we're referring to a time. This is all referring to a time. So we need to use our particle ni as a time reference. So at this time, I what? I wake up. What is my verb to wake up in Japanese? And make sure you conjugate it too. I wake up at 6:30. Conjugate the verb for to wake up. 車を持っていますか？車を、はい、車を持ってます。トヨタという車を持っています。What is my verb to wake up? To wake up. And remember, conjugate it to in the positive. 起きる。そうだよ。だけど。conjugate 起きる。カコトラ thank you for following. 私は午前6時半に起きます。Yes, Jesse. 6時に起きます to conjugate it. For my hiragana friends, 私は午前6時半に起きます。And then, for my own sanity, 私は午前6時半に起きます。That's the wrong 起きます。There we go. Kakotora kun, yokoso. Welcome in, Kakotora. Welcome to the Tiger's Den. So, 私は午前6時半に起きます。So, we're using our time reference particle here, ni. And I believe the highlight for ni was blue. 週末は大体何をしますか？実は大体テレビゲームをたくさんします。よろしくお願いします。よろしくです。So I'm gonna try to change this now. So let's say I go to, or better yet, I return home at 4 o'clock. 4, 5, 6. Let's try this. I return home at 1600 hours, which is 4 p.m. I return home. Your keyword, be careful. I'm using return in this one. For this home, infer that it is your own home. See, konbanwa, Kitsuneko-san. So for this example, try using... There you go. I return to your own home at 1600. I'm used to just writing this as 4 o'clock, though. I see some of you are hesitant. I'm going to change this to... Yeah, okay, I'll just keep saying. So we're going to start with our usual watashi wa. Let's do our time next. Watashi wa nanji ni... Like, at what time? What time are we returning home? 16時に. Yes, very good. So, 私は16時に. But Kakotora, where are we going? You use the correct particle, you use the correct verb, but where are we going also? This actually may seem kind of redundant since the verb already implies it. Yes, 家へ. 家へ帰ります。私は16時に家へ帰ります。So, 家に Yes. 家へ16時に帰ります。And Fox is just like, You're right. I return to my home. Okay, I get it. I get it. 私は家へ16時に帰ります。And Jesse, you're doing it also. Jesse and Uh, 26? Oh, Fox has changed his. So, for this would be... Yeah, you type ni juro... the ni changed instead. So, watashi wa... 16... And I'm leaving this in kanji because we learned this kanji. We also learned this kanji, guys. 16時に uchi e kaerimasu. And then for my sanity, 私は16時に家へ帰ります。We've used our time reference and our direction particle in here twice. So our first one is our time reference. We're using particle ni. Now, our direction, where are we going, is uchi e. Now remember, e can only be used as direction, where you are, like, there's like movement involved. ファソという場所は10分ですか? The foxhole place is 10 minutes? I'm getting confused myself. So, 私は16時に uchi e karimasu. This e here, can we use... Is there another particle we could replace this with? This e for our direction. What other particle could we replace this one with? Kitsuneko-san, 帰ったね。Not exactly, no. Distinguisher from 10 minutes? Yeah, because like even I also said 10 minutes. I was like, huh? So this ni, this e, there's another particle that you could use. It means the same thing. And like using our notes, which one could you have used instead? Woobly, you may need to clarify. Like, what could we use instead of e? Based on our the notes here, what could we use instead of e? 教えるのが好きですか? 教えるのが好きですか? Because you have to turn it to the verb to teach. 教えるの and then が好きですか? Foxes, we are using e already. What could we replace this e with? And then for Woobly, my answer to you, Tokidoki yoshiero no ga suki desu. Yes. Don't forget, this e here, you can also use ni instead. So, like saying, here, I'll write this here instead. Saying, watashi wa 16時に uchi ni kaerimasu is exactly the same thing. It means the exact same thing. It's really up to you how you want to use it. What was the next thing I was supposed to go over? Yes, time reference. And Kitsuneko, thank you for being here, because I may need you a little bit to help clarify this one. Something I did want to bring up is word order, because... Word order. Because, like, I do it one way, Foxes is doing it one way, Jesse's doing it one way. The general rule is that Japanese sentences are pretty flexible. though there are some hard rules. The verb must always be... Where must the verb always be in a Japanese sentence, by the way? Where must the verb be? Yes, at the end. The end of a sentence. 16時に私の家へ帰ります work for this sentence. Yes, that would. And that's, hold on. Although watashi no uchi is kind of redundant. You could just use uchi. And I think that would be more, that would work too. So the verb must always come at the end. Any other words must be attached to their corresponding particles, kind of thing. And I'm going to use the example we used before. Watashi wa restaurant de sushi o tabemasu. First of all, tabemasu has to stay. This must always be at the end. So watashi wa would be my subject, so I'm going to keep this in red. Restaurant de is my location. These two are connected. They have to stay together. Sushi o is my object. These also must stay together. So you could basically say, you could also say, watashi wa sushi o restaurant de tabemasu. And it would still be correct too, because everything is still connected to where it needs to be. I just flipped the order. The biggest thing is, even though I'm flipping these words, they're still attached to their corresponding particle. And of course, this means I eat sushi at the restaurant. Now, if you switch the nouns but not the particles, second edition. On the second, you're on 8.4. We are currently on 3. We're in the middle of chapter 3. That's all I'll say. I actually moved them around a little bit. So, watashi wa sushi o restaurant de tabemasu. Has the same meaning as watashi wa restaurant de sushi o tabemasu. It's really up to you on what your preference is on how to organize your sentences, as long as the particles are attached to the correct words. I personally like the first way more, only because I like whatever my direct object is, I like it attached to the verb. That's my preference. It makes it easier for me personally to understand it. However, if you did like watashi wa sushi de restaurant o tabemasu, it completely changes the meaning. Jack Sensei wa daigaku de manabimashita ka? Hai, daigaku de nihongo o 9年ぐらい勉強しました。So if I said like watashi wa sushi de, I have sushi here. I moved my verb from here, but it's a sushi de. This doesn't make sense in the sushi. So I eat a restaurant in the sushi. This one doesn't make sense. I actually love this example. So when you are moving verbs around, make sure that the particles are attached to their correct nouns in order for it to make sense. Any questions on word order real quick? I ate a restaurant using sushi. Exactly. Kakotora actually used the other form of de, which is to use. We haven't learned that one just yet. I hate a restaurant using sushi. I kind of want to draw this. What would that look like? The last thing I want to talk about also at this point is time reference. Again. Now, when referring to a direct time, we must use particle... What was our particle for time reference? What particle must we use when referring to an exact time? To an exact time. We must use particle what? Godzilla. Gojira. Yes, we have to use particle ni. We must use particle ni. So some things you would have to say is like exact time. For example, like 9:30 or 10 o'clock. These are exact times. So use particle ni. Hold on. I actually have to refer, because this one's harder. Like I personally know how this works, but I tend to get caught up trying to explain this. I'm not late for class. What you talking about? Alright, so we use this for like exact time, and then sometimes you use particle ni when referring to times like in the morning or on the weekend. Like shumatsu ni or asa ni when referring to those times, but it's not really necessary for those. So like let me do examples. I'm gonna use this one here because I think this is better. So I eat breakfast in the morning. So to build this, we could say watashi wa. What is breakfast, by the way? It's one of our vocabulary words. What is breakfast? What is breakfast? Nihongo de breakfast wa nan toyu? Or breakfast wa Nihongo de nan desu ka? I think that may be easier for you guys to understand. Breakfast wa Nihongo de nan desu ka? In Japanese, what is breakfast? Hai, asa gohan. So watashi wa asa gohan. So breakfast, asa gohan. So we have asa gohan. This is what we're eating. So I eat breakfast in the morning. So I need. How do I finish this sentence? Watashi wa asa gohan. This is our object that we are eating. How do I finish this sentence? Watashi wa asa gohan. Because I need my object particle and the correct verb for this. I eat breakfast. So we have asa gohan. What is our object? Yes, we need o. And what is to eat? What is to eat? Taberu. Hai. Demo. Conjugate taberu, because since we're using our neutral or long form. Taberu turns into what? Remember. Yes, tabemasu. Tabemasu. Everyday is fun? Is everyday fun? Mainichi wa chotto. Maybe not every day. Maybe not every day. So watashi wa asa gohan o tabemasu. But I'm forgetting my time reference here. In the morning. So we were using exact times before. So you could say 私は朝に朝ごはんを食べます。And the reason why I put ni here, and this, I think this is more for preference, I guess, or emphasis. If you want to emphasize that asa ni asugohan no tabemasu, like you want to emphasize that you eat breakfast in the morning, you could use this ni here. It's in parentheses because very much like watashi wa, you don't necessarily need the ni here. So asa asugohan o tabemasu, like I eat breakfast in the morning. Or asa ni watashi wa asugohan o tabemasu. Oops. Nande ya nen. Watashi wa asa ni oops. Ni asagohan o tabemasu. I wrote mainichi wa chotto to itemashita. I'm wondering if you need da in that one since there's no verb. What mainichi wa chotto da to itemashita. Since there's no verb in that one. Actually, no, leave it as is. That's good. Mainichi wa chotto to itemashita. I think that's fine. So asagohan o tabemasu is just I eat breakfast. Yes. But if I put asa ni in front of it, I eat breakfast in the morning. Now, some people may think that's silly, but some people have breakfast for dinner. I mean, have you guys seen WandaVision? I mean, what? However, words like today, or every night, or every day. Yeah, the particles can be fun. But like words like every night or every day, or even using the question word when, you do not use ni. 宿題がまたあるので出す。ジャック先生は私の日本語の高校先生よりも楽しい。Like, I'm more fun than your English teacher. 日本できな Second question. 日本できなりが好きと言っていました。日本的な料理. I was like, what? Don't forget the word food. 日本的な料理. 日本的な料理が好き. This one you do need da. 好きだと言っていました. Because the short form of 好き des is 好きだ. You do need da for that one. So what 日本的な料理が好きだと言っていました. These are tricky words, and these kind of can be these words are relative to the present moment. So if I wanted to say like today, so like today, Foxes eats breakfast. Or no, let me try lunch. Lunch at school. In this sentence, my time reference here is today. What is today in Japanese? Today wa Nihongo de nan desu ka? What is today in Japanese? One of our vocabulary words. Kyo. Hi. So today, kyo. Kyo. I do not need ni because today is more of a it's more of like relative time. It's not an exact moment. I'm saying just today in general, not today exactly in this morning. So today, Foxes-san, 別にお酒を飲まないと言ってました. Yes. Foxes-san wa, and then how would I say eats lunch at school? Actually, you know what? I'm gonna change this. Foxes does not. Today, Foxes does not eat lunch at school. I'm gonna change this sentence because I haven't used a negative. Kyo, Foxes-san wa. What can I put next? So I have these already. Kyo, Foxes-san wa. How do I build this sentence? In fact, this may be the last one we do before I write out. 今日は学ぶ Monday ですね。For キツネコさんの学ぶ Monday の日ですね。Foxes-san wa. Let's try at school first. Who remember what is school in Japanese? School. How do we say at school using our particles again? Foxes-san wa at school. Gakko de. That is correct. So Foxes-san wa gakko de. So we have at school. Now we need does not eat lunch. Our object here is going to be lunch. He does not eat lunch. So 今日 Fox-san は学校で lunch を食べません. Jesse, what was lunch? Lunch. One of our vocabulary words. So 今日 Fox-san はremember 学校で at school 学校でお昼ご飯を食べません. We could just say 昼ご飯 for now. 昼ご飯を食べません. So 今日 Fox-san は学校で昼ご飯を食べません. He does not eat lunch at school today. And for this, our time reference is 今日, but because this is more of a relative time, it's not an exact moment. We're talking about like today in general. We don't need particle ni here at all. We do not use particle ni. And so this week, 今日 Foxes-san は学校で昼ご飯を食べません. And then 今日 Foxes-san は学校で昼ご飯を食べません. Shunantaisou. You may need suru to itemashita for that one, since it's to do calisthenics. Shunantaisou suru to itemashita. You might need suru in that one. But like I said, okay, so for like we have words like today. I feel like I'm shuffling a lot right now. Today, every night, every day I'm shuffling. Or even when. We do not use particle ni for these words. So in this example, we use today, and I'm going to highlight today. 今日. So we did not need particle ni for this. I'm going to do one more example. I'm going to mix it up here. I'm going to say, every night at 7 o'clock, every night at 7 o'clock, let's say I use Jesse and Foxes a lot. Let's see. We'll use Woobly. No, we use Kakotora-san. Kakotora goes to sleep. Every night at 7 o'clock, Kakotora goes to sleep. Now, every night is one of our new vocabulary words. Maiban. How would we build this sentence? And I personally, when it comes to time reference, I like using the time reference first. So every night. Let's start with every night. So, maiban. Who am I talking about in my sentence? How do I build this sentence? Who am I talking about in this sentence? Is this the last thing I want to talk about today? Yes, time reference. So, maiban, for every night. Kakotora-san, yes. Every night. Kakotora. What does Kakotora-san do? Kakotora-san. What does Kakotora-san do? Kakotora-san wa dou suru? What do they do? Hey, he goes to bed. So Kakotora-san wa. So our verb is gonna be nemasu, for he sleeps. But in this case, I do have a specific time reference here at 7 o'clock. How would I put that here in this blank? Kakotora-san wa at 7 o'clock. Maiban Kakotora-san wa. Yeah, that kind of little... Your thing broke. So every night, maiban Kakotora-san wa at what? How do we say at 7 o'clock? At 7 o'clock. So we have our verb. We just need at 7 o'clock. Nanaji ni. Yes. Nanaji ni. Or shichiji works too. Nanaji ni nemasu. So, maiban Kakotora-san wa nanaji ni nemasu. And I'll do that slowly as well. Maiban Kakotora-san wa nanaji ni or shichiji ni nemasu. Both of those will work. So, I'll do this in hiragana. Actually, let me move this down to the next page. So, maiban Kakotora-san wa nanaji. It works. Nanaji ni nemasu. Maiban Kakotora-san wa nanaji ni nemasu. In fact, actually, I can write this nanaji here in kanji because we've learned it. Ototo ga hitori ga imasu. Hitori ga iru to itemashita. Because you have to use the short form if you're using to itteru. You have to use short form prior to it. So, hitori ga iru to itemashita. So here we have maiban. It does not use particle ni because maiban, every night, is a relative time. It's not an exact time. Kakotora-san wa shichiji ni. This time we do use particle ni because we do have an exact time. And those are our two examples. Are any questions on our time reference, like when to use ni and when not? In fact, I'm gonna go over that. So we use particle ni for exact times, and you can sometimes, when referring to times like in the morning or on the weekend. But you do not use particle ni for times like today, every night, every day, or even the question word when. You don't say itsu ni. You just say itsu. Like, it'd be word like itsu ni. Like, itsu ni asaka gohan o tabemasu. It's like, when do you eat breakfast? That when is relative. Now, if you said like nanji ni, at what time do you eat breakfast? That would make more sense. Any questions on time reference? Because this one can be kind of tricky, and I may have to go over this again. San Diego ni sundeiru to ittemashita. Sundeiru to. Alright, I think that's it for tonight, guys. So what we're going to do, I believe... I'm going to check if Kitsuneko's-san is already streaming. I think they may be. So, let's find out. Let's see. Like my lessons to their... Oh, no, they're Mada.
I mean, if you've ever seen something printed...
Nope, not yet. Is it... does Kitsuneko stream tonight? Otherwise, we will go to a friend of mine. Let's see, who's streaming also? I may be a little early. But I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's lesson. I know... Let me know if it's getting a little difficult. Because if it is, I'll try to help you guys a bit more. Yeah, Woobly, I can help you with that. But yeah, please let me know if it's starting to get a little complicated, and I'll try to do my best to try to explain it for you guys. So... Man, you guys are quieter tonight. Let's see. We're going to go on and raid out to a friend. Then, thank you, Woobly. We'll raid out to Zuka. You're just a bit lost? At which part, Jesse? Because I'll see if I can try and help. Is it just particles in general, or is it the time reference? In fact, I feel like I need to put this in a box. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'll put this in a box. We'll do this. Yeah, particles and order in general. I have to review that as well. Yeah, like for me, I like... As long as the particles are attached to their correct objects, they should be fine. Everyone doing a good job tonight. It is a lot of stuff to take in. And like, the particles are really the hardest part of this chapter. In fact, if I check the next chapter, I think next chapter is easier. Chapter 4, we talk about... We have 2 new verbs. Describing where things are. That's not too difficult. We do start past tense next chapter. We use particle toll. Mole would be a review. Yeah, like next chapter is not as challenging as this one. Chapter 5 is just as... I think chapter 5 is adjectives. When we start using adjectives. Yep, chapter 5 is adjectives. I explained the particles well. Thanks, Asinonics. Chapter 6 is the big one, though. The final chapter for Japanese 1 is the hardest one, in my opinion, because we introduce Teiform. And Teiform is basically the make or break of learning Japanese. Once you learn Teiform, the rest is pretty easy. In which case, we could start singing songs like Ru and Te do 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 Ru and Te do do do. Yeah, and it will get stuck in your head. I will do that on purpose. All right. Thank you for streaming. As a complete novice, I have so many questions, but being so new to this, it's hard to articulate the questions I'm thinking about. This was interesting, so I have to check out the sessions. Thank you again. It's all right, Happy Fox. So if you do have more questions, you can communicate with me in the Discord, and I'll do my best to try to help you guys. Speaking of, let me do my last spiel about Discord. For those of you that are new or have just come in, if you join in on the Discord, it will first take you to my rules. Go on and agree to the rules. That's like the only way you can get in. By selecting the tiger here. And then go to Role Selector if you want the Japanese section. To access the Japanese section, you need to react here with Jack Sip. And it will open it up here. We've been using the Japanese 1 resources for now. And I do have the YouTube playlist here at the very top. It will open up my YouTube channel. And we've done 12 sessions so far. This is session 13. So you can always rewatch to see what we've learned. I already have the verb goes at the end jingle in your head. The verb goes at the end. The verb goes at the end. Also, there you'll find the notes for Chapter 1, Chapter 2, and Chapter 3. We are currently working on Chapter 3. Each of the notes starts off with vocabulary also. If you'd like to join in, or if you're having trouble like getting into into some of the sections like the Japanese resources, let me know and I will try to help you with that as well. The verb goes at the end. So let me I could have sworn that Kitsuneko streams on Mondays, but oh well. So what we're going to do today, we're going to raid out to my friend Zuka Wolf. Zuka is currently playing Apex Legends. So / raid at Zuka. You just think you think he's late? She does normally, yes. Normally, Kitsuneko doko ni iru kana? Where are you? Oh, you're just finishing dinner? Yeah, Zuka Wolf the best. Combined words are betch. The best ween on Twitch. Okay, so, So, I don't want to rush Kitsuneko, so we're going to go on and raid out to Zuka Wolf. So, Zuka Wolf. Okay, they're together. Because I had my dinner to get to also. / raid at Zuka Wolf. So we're going to raid to Zuka Wolf, and he's playing Apex. And our raid message will just be Zuka Wolf Legends, since he's playing Apex. And use all these heart emotes here if you'd like. Like this. This will be our raid message. I'm going to make sure I don't get stuck in an ad, though, real quick. So let me log into Zoom.
Custom.
Yep, there we go. Okay. So yeah, they're playing Apex. All right, thank you guys for coming in. Tomorrow will be my Final Fantasy raid, so if you'd like to watch that, I will put that on my Discord later on. And we will continue with a new lesson on Wednesday. Again, thank you guys for coming in. I'll catch you all later. Bye bye.